Welcome, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to the Red Room. I'm Heather Carlisle, and I'm delighted that I have viewers this evening. Thank you so much for tuning in. We have a topic as usual, and I want to remind you that anytime you want, type a question that's on the top of your mind or that you're aching to answer or you're curious about, or you just like to put it out there and see what happens. So thank you. Thank you for being with me tonight. It's very encouraging to me, and I love doing this. So, as you know, tonight is section 5 of 6. So, we'll finish the year with number 6 next week. And first of all, before we start talking about section 5, which is personal power, if you have any questions about the work that we did last week, and thank you for tuning in then. And you got your handouts if you wanted to print them out from the Red Room. And this, of course, is the lifestyle design model with all of the 18 building blocks for a healthy lifestyle. And then there's also this one, which is the blank, which by the time we're finished these 6 weeks, I would really like for you to have a word, a phrase, a sentence, a topic, something in each one of these areas filled in your own blank. So, last week we talked about emotional intelligence and an optimistic attitude. And what I'd like is for you to put something in at least one of these blocks so that you've got 10, 11, and 12. Something in there where you're assessing yourself today. Nobody knows you like you. Nobody knows what you need next more than your life mirrors to you. And, sometimes it's hard to look at ourselves in our lives. And usually it's right here in front of our nose what it is the next thing that's in our way, or an open door to advancement, or a skill that we really want to refine because we're looking at something that we want improvement in, either internally or in how we express ourselves or how we make a difference with that part of ourselves in the world. And that's what I designed this to help you with. So if you have any questions about last week, it was emotional intelligence, how you handle your feelings or are sensitive to your feelings inside your emotions, which is what you care about, and how much you have a happy, optimistic attitude, and how you handle yourself with other people. Are you able to create boundaries for yourself and manage your own anxiety, self-doubt, or anger? And then how do you express yourself through your heart? Are you able to have an intimate relationship that is rewarding to both of you in the relationship? And are you able to solve conflicts with courtesy and wisdom and kindness? So that's what we talked about last week, and I trust that if you tuned in last week, you've got something that you've decided you want to improve. So if I'm not seeing any questions, and I'm not, let's go on to the topic for this evening. Now this topic, we bandy about the generic term personal empowerment. So tonight what I say is this is about your personal power. Power really is, where do you spend your energy? Where do you spend your aliveness? Where do you spend the abilities that you possess? And how do you make a decision or come to a conclusion about what are you doing now? What are you going to do an hour from now, a day from now, a week, a month, a year, 10 years? Because, and I know you've heard me say this before, if you don't have in mind what you want, if you haven't articulated your goals for yourself in some fashion, somebody else's preferences, values, loves, goals are going to determine who you become and what your life looks like. And goodness sake, we know that that's not a black or white thing, and that we're in partnership, in alliance, or at odds with each other in our personal lives and our professional lives and in our families throughout the entire lifespan. It's just that whatever it is that you have control over, responsibility for, or freedom with, I'd like it to be yours, not somebody else's. Because nobody else would make a decision or take action the way you specifically would. So, that means tonight we're looking at these 3 columns. And let's go through those one at a time. And anytime you like, chime in, ask me a question for clarification or for solving this or anything else. That's what I'm here for, people. Dear friends who tune in. This is the goal setting sheet from my lifestyle design guide. And if you would like to have that, you can download it from one of my blogs. And it's a kind of a lovely little thing that makes sure you look at everything in your life and invites you to articulate something for yourself. And I want you to do that. I don't want anybody to do it for you. I want you to have that for yourself. Okay, so if you notice my welcome to the Red Room, part 5, personal power. And number 1, your need for a complex perspective. Have you ever heard it put quite that way before? I love that term. And yes, things are universal and simple, and things are extremely complex and subtle and everything in between, of course. So we'll talk about why you need and why it's good for us to have a complex perspective. 2, how do you, quote unquote, spend your mental budget? Because your mental budget really and truly is the bottom line. And number 3, why your success is bonded to your restraint, your ability to have restraint, and your bad habits. And we're sensitive to those. What I want tonight is for you to relax your sense of judgment, your sense of self-doubt or shame or guilt, your sense of resentment towards yourself or anybody else. Please just put those aside for tonight. Suspend them. And let's look at all of this logically and intelligently and with kindness, which means if we get logic and kindness, we get wisdom. So let's look at it through the eyes of wisdom, because that's where we can make a real wise decision and make a difference. First of all, if we think about power, this is personal power, and it is the ability to shape our experience of life, ourselves, and what we do in life, and how our life looks. You can pretty much tell what Heather has been thinking about if you look at my persona, my identity, and my lifestyle and my relationships. You can tell what I've been spending my mental budget on, how I've been budgeting my thought process. And of course, one of the things that says loud and clear is I spend a lot of time thinking about people, about their potential, their abilities, how we build those, and how people, in one way or another, we see them with such a potential, and yet they don't reach their potential. And I'll never forget my mom telling me when I was quite young, probably middle school, that my report cards would always reflect the same kind of energy. My teachers would say on my report card, they'd write a note to my parents, Heather's very smart. We don't know why she doesn't do better in school. And of course, it was all about personal power. It was all about motivation. It was how I spent my mental budget and my emotional budget. Even as a little girl in elementary school and middle school, there it was. So I'm very familiar with it personally, still am, looking at it, working with it, that we have potential and that there are things that keep us from reaching that potential. And that's fine, no judgment. We're just human. We do the best we can with what we've got. And so if there's something more that you want for yourself, there are always good reasons why you've gotten where you are, and good reasons on how to get you towards where you want to go. If I think about my favorite metaphor for personal power, for power period, it's water. My power is really my intention, my energy, my will, my desire, the roaring desire of my soul to be fully alive, to be fully expressing, to be fully responsible and meaningful in this life. So that drive that I believe comes from the soul, it's equal for all of us. Each one of us is a human being. And it's like water. We can use water for nothing, just to be calm. We can use water to turn a water wheel and get some power to fill the trough of our livestock. We can use it to push a turbine over a dam and create enough electrical power to light up a whole province or state, etc. Water is like a generic substance, just like money is a generic substance. And this is how I think about our personal power. It's a generic substance that we all have equal access to a greater or lesser degree, and you know the